This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
It's a wonderful morning. It's not too hot. It's lovely and there's lots of cloud cover and we're excited. I hope that you are too. So grab your bird lists, grab your binoculars and jump on board for your live safari through the African bush. Hello everyone. As you can see, it's a bit gloomy. It's a bit windy, it's a bit stormy, but last night we had a good amount of rain and that means that everything's going to be nice and lush. Hi everyone, it's me, TRISHALA, and I've got Marcel on camera with me this morning. It's been a long time since we've been together. We're going to have a good one. So we have lots of plans, Marcel and I. Bless you, excuse me. We are going to go to the hyena den, possibly. Well, not possibly. We want to go there. Hopefully they'll be around. We'll start off over there. But when it's overcast like this, it's about 20 degrees Celsius, 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Always a good time to find predators. So we're going to go on a mission today, searching for all sorts of things. Now remember, this is your safari, it's live, so please do chat to us using that hashtag WildEarth or @FC on YouTube. Give us your questions and your comments. Whatever you'd like to ask us. Here we have a beautiful view of the marulas. I was actually thinking about if they'd be ripe by the time that I have to leave. But I still have some time. Because there's nothing like the fruit of a marula tree. Such a unique fruit. And so tasty. You can hear the woodland kingfisher. Just lovely.
I have an update, please.
All the other vehicles are out as well now, so we're all going to go work the area and see what we can come up with. Now, because of the rains, last night, it wasn't a huge amount of rain, but it did rain. Lots and lots of thunder and lightning, though. But because of that, tracks will be that much more difficult to follow and to find. But we're going to try our best. There's just a tiny bit of light peeking through in the east, where the sun should rise. But most of it is obscured by the clouds at the moment. Can you hear the wind? It's actually picked up as we've been sitting here. Bubbles, you'd like to know what my favorite thing about a marula tree is? Absolutely, it is their fruits. Love their fruits so much. But besides that, they're also the larval host of the Luna moth, and the Luna moth is just the prettiest moth, at least to me. So hopefully we'll be able to find a few of those. We might see some of its caterpillars along the branches of the marulas. But the fruit, that's great. It's a weirdly mango, lemony, I can't even describe it. You'll just have to taste it, I guess. You'll just have to come to Africa and taste the marula fruit.
Marula tastes like nothing tastes like marula.
You hear the sound of old vehicles leaving. Alright, let's get out before this vehicle passes us too, and let's make our way towards the den. Lots of millipedes around. Lots of wind. And I suspect we'll see many tortoises, land snails, all that sort of thing that enjoys a little bit of moisture. And a lot of moisture, actually. Very few antelope out here today. There's busy parts of busy roads on the reserve, but this is one of them. So we're going to turn down. The den is not too far. It's about 1.5 kilometers at most away from here. So we're going to turn down here, and then I'll see you when I get there.
Welcome to andBeyond Phinda, everyone. We are currently sitting with the wildebeest, and it looks like, have a look, he's busy grooming himself, and he's looking around just on his own. I can't see any around him. Hello everyone, my name is BUSANI, and behind the camera we've got Glenn. And we're sitting with this wildebeest here. And have a look, he's walking around. So the reason why he's by himself, it's because he's on his territory around here. So he's gonna wait here for the ladies to come within his territory. Then he will move with them. We also have a warthog just in front of him. Look like there's 3 warthogs. I think I'm gonna drive a little bit forward and see whether we can have a better view of the wildebeest and the warthog. You see, he just gone to feed with the warthogs. It's mostly a safety number, so they don't mind each other and they don't compete with food, because there's plenty of grass around here. And have a look at the warthogs, are also the one on the far left. It's just gone down to its knee to get much closer to the ground. And I think we're gonna carry on and try to find more animals around here. And we are going to take you into back to one of our guides and see what they find.
Dramatic, windy, beautiful blue skies plus clouds racing across. What's today going to bring? It's absolutely gorgeous. A little bit chilly, but I'm excited about what we might find. It seems like a predator type of morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Anderson. Behind the camera is Seb, and you joined us at Eco Training Pridelands Conservancy, where we are taking a moment to enjoy the sky, but also slowly move towards Leopard Dam, where we're hoping with that hyena that was there yesterday with a full belly, there might be more activity. In fact, as we were driving along here, I noticed more hyena tracks heading towards the dam. It's difficult to tell how fresh they are, but with this kind of wind, it's likely that they're quite fresh, because the wind started at around about midnight last night, and any tracks from before then will be quite badly damaged by this very strong gusty wind. So it might have been from earlier this morning, so there's a good chance we might find something. It's always exciting. This kind of weather is the perfect weather for predators to be hunting, especially with all the lambs, the impala lambs around. They won't be used to having to avoid predators, not yet. And the mothers are struggling to control their lambs, also deal with the fact that it's very windy, and the predators can approach things very close. As you can see, you can probably even hear this wind in the mic. It's absolutely pounding through here. As you can see, we're expecting maybe even a few drops of rain to fall in a couple of hours or so, maybe around about 8 o'clock. So we're hoping that it's going to freshen everything up. As you can see, that young leadwood tree over there struggling to remain standing in this wind. Who knows what this morning's going to bring. But anyway, let's keep moving. Let's head towards Leopard Dam. Let's see what might be happening as we get closer to the dam itself. Sandy, it's not common. Sandy, tornadoes are not something that we experience often in the low veld. However, as you get closer to the escarpment, the high veld, they do sometimes occur. I think a few years ago in a small town called Dullstrom, which is a fishing town halfway up the escarpment or the side of the mountain, there was a massive tornado, like a freak tornado, that destroyed lots of forestry and the edge of the town as well. So it was quite a big event, quite a scary one as well for those who were living there, because they would never have experienced something like that before. And then from the eastern coast, or the east coast, around Mozambique, which isn't so far from here, 100 kilometers or so, maybe even less, there are cyclones that happen at this time of year. Going into January, February, March, cyclones happen, especially now because it's a La Nina year, meaning colder ocean temperatures, I believe, and wetter east coast weather on continents with an east coast that is facing a large ocean. So this year, potentially a few cyclones. Now, they don't usually race this far inland, but we could get the edges of it, meaning quite a lot of wind and heavier rainfall. So we'll see what the next of the season brings.
Dumela and good morning to a wonderful and brisk Tswalu. And from our orientation and the sun being behind us, we are heading west. Lovely giraffe in the distance, and it's just a good morning. Good morning, my name is Carl, behind camera is Owen. Thanks very much for joining us on this wonderful morning here at Tswalu Kalahari. We are heading out west this morning, and what we're going to do is just kind of delay the process of getting out there until it gets a little bit warmer, that we can hopefully get to that lovely colony of leafcutter bees. I know I've been talking about for the past 2-3 days, but this morning is the morning that we get them. The giraffe look so small within this very open and vast landscape. I mean, that animal is huge. And in scale, it looks like a little dinky toy. All the birds singing. Coolness of the morning is still there. It's nice and fresh. And it is a fantastic morning here on Tswalu. So for all those questions, guys, don't hesitate, please, for our young ambassadors. That'll be kids' questions at WildEarth.tv. And don't forget just to take a look at that WildEarth.tv/explorer. Those very exciting adventures ahead And for anybody else, any other questions, that'll just be hashtag at WildEarth or at SC. Don't hesitate to drop me a question or one of my colleagues at any point in time. So we've got a few dunes to hop over. We're going to go right past those giraffes. We've got to run over about another 8 or 9 of these undulating. It is fantastic light. This is the jewel of the morning, this period. Obviously, photographers, they like to refer to as the golden hour. It is literally a golden few seconds where this light is just perfect. It's not overexposed, not underexposed. It's just allowing all those colors just to really show their goods off. There's just an orchestra going on around us as well, from all directions. Fawn-coloured lark with that jumbled sequence. And there's a definite calmness of this morning present. For now, I'm going to send you off to one of my colleagues and we will see you shortly.
I am sitting at one of the water holes here at andBeyond in Ngala, and we are actually here looking for the Birmingham Pride of lions. There's tracks of them coming towards this section of the property, and I was hoping they might be here at the water hole. My name is Tessa. I'm going to be your guide this morning at andBeyond in Ngala. Behind the camera, we have VK. And this morning, I'm really hoping to find you the Birmingham Pride. They seem to have been active during the night. Last night, there were some lions heard close to camp. And so I actually came here hoping that there would be some sign of them, because they are actually coming towards us. They were coming in from our eastern boundary past the camp. And so this is the closest little water hole to camp. It has been quite active overnight because it was nice and cold. We've had a little bit of rain this morning. And so I think the predators are going to be nice and active today. So it's quite a beautiful morning because of this nice breeze. I think that we're going to have a good day today, provided it doesn't start raining hard again. It was raining when we started to try and come out this morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head on down towards the boundary and see if I can find those lions that have come in during the night.
Welcome back to andBeyond Phinda. Tessa, we also have a very nice weather here. We also hope that it's not going to rain because it's going to be very tough with game viewing. But we have found the 2 rhinos just in front of us. And you can see they are different sizes. And the one at the back, that's mom. And the one close to us, that's her calf. So you have a look on her body. You can see she's got like mud on herself. So she's been wallowing on a water hole not too far from here, probably from last night. And we found her, she was just resting. You could see where she was rubbing herself against the tree to try to get off the ticks, because the amount of ticks in this area, it's really amazing. And they just started to graze along now. So probably they're going to start grazing along for the rest of the day. And once it does get really hot, then they'll find a nice place or shade away from the heat, or even perhaps go back into the water hole where they were and wallow onto the mud. It's quite windy. You can see the movement of the trees. We've got wow, it's really nice, Linda, to see them, like two of them, and mom and the little baby walking around, grazing around. I was just saying that we've got like westerly wind. They wanted to get away from the wind in a nice sheltered area away from the wind. So they were lying down just behind them. They just started to wake up now. And have a look at, there's a bird that's sitting on the side and on the back of the ear of the little baby. So it's busy moving around. See, now it's going, it's just dropping to the ground. So what those birds are, there's a red-billed oxpecker. Do you see it's got bright red bill and quite brown on its back? It's amazing how they do hold on the rhino, just on the side. So they're looking for ticks. If they find a wound as well, they do open it up and drink blood of the rhino, which is really bad for them doing that. But they also, on other hand, they also help a lot with the rhinos to clean them, those ticks. So can you imagine tracking these rhinos, more especially on food? And you see they change direction so quickly. It does take a long time if you want to track them, and you have to be very patient. Michelle, they do have a thick skin, you're definitely right, but they also have some softer part, like underneath the front legs and the back legs. Those parts are very soft, and also around the ears, as you saw earlier on, that red-billed oxpecker going right inside the ears to try to pick those ticks off. But then it seems like they're moving away slowly on. And some of the ticks are very small. We also have pepper ticks, which are tiny little ticks that you can't really see them clear with your naked eyes unless if you know what you're looking for. Off she goes. You see the baby following on the side. So that's little baby. It's a younger male. So judging by its size, and it's just, you can just see the second horn started to grow. So which means it might be just over 3 years to 4 years. So it's going to get to the stage now whereby mom will get ready to have a new baby. So perhaps she's going to push that older one away, and so that she can be able to look after the new born baby. So she's going to find a nice a clump of tickets and be hidden around there for 4 to 5 days. And after that, she will move around within the area. Then she'll start walking around. Sometimes it does happen that the older calf will go and join another crash of rhino, or if it cannot find the crash of rhino, then it will stay close to mom, but mom will not accept that because she has to look after the two baby. It's really very tough for them to look after two babies. Can you imagine if you are out in the bush and you've got two babies? It's going to be hard work. It's going to be a hard work to be able to look after the two babies, more especially if there's something that will try to hunt you. You see the younger male? It's confirmed now. That's a good question, Carrie. And they do defend themselves with their sizes. So this, the size of them, the lion cannot stand a chance. And for the lion to be able to kill the fully grown rhinos, the chances are very slim because of the size. And also for the lion to try to suffocate the rhino that's that big, it's almost impossible. But it has happened here before, whereby I think it was a Sabi rhino, like a very similar size with that a baby one. So it was on its own, so it got caught about Pride of Lions. So if you were with us yesterday afternoon, we did find the 2 male lions. So one of those male lions was with the Pride. So they did come across with the Sabi, and they did manage to kill it because there were a lot of lions there. But normally they don't really go for rhinos. They do prefer to go for easier prey like nyalas and warthogs, because they have learned that to kill something that's not going to hurt them, it's much easier than killing rhinos. See the red-billed oxpecker back onto them again. So I think we're going to carry on. Have a look how open it is where these rhinos are. So we are expecting it's a nice habitat for cheetah. So cheetahs here in Phinda are adapted to go and hunt something on a ticket and come back in the open areas. So we're going to leave these rhinos and try to drive more open areas to look for cheetah.
Looking for some tracks, and the only tracks that I've found so far are that of hyenas, but unfortunately no hyenas at the den. But we'll just keep bumbling about and see what we come across. Also love to see some elephants. I've been wanting to for over 2 weeks now. I managed to see one in Buffelshoek yesterday, but it was during all the lightning and that, so we didn't broadcast it. But I want to share an elephant sighting with you all. But there have been very few on the reserve the last couple of weeks. But before I do that, I think I'm going to... So we've come down from the hyena den, swung round Twin Dam, back up on Twin Dams Road towards the north. So I'm going to pop in there a little bit later too and see if there are hyenas around. Been missing them. But if not, we'll just see what else the bush wants to give us. Maybe another daytime chameleon, that would be nice. That's always nice, isn't it?
Welcome back to andBeyond Phinda. You did earlier on, the little white rhino baby was walking in between those giraffe bones. You can just see the horns of a giraffe at the back. So this giraffe died for the natural causes. So, and those male lions we saw last night, we find them in the next morning feeding on these on the giraffe carcass. But we still got the rhinos here. They still get grazing along. They enjoying this nice grass. And have a look how low do they get into the ground to get that little bit of the grass. And they're using the gums. They don't have teeth in the front. They're using the gums to to pull off the grass. The little baby just stopped feeding, and she's... And yes, the rhinos do have short hairs, more especially around the mouth and just around the ears as well. They don't have a lot of hairs, and they've got soft skin, and on their body they don't have a lot of hairs like elephant. But the only hairs that you'll see, it's their tiny eyelashes and just on the edge of the ears. Yeah, they don't have a lot. So it seems like those red-billed oxpecker, they have moved off, and they don't. Perhaps they didn't find a lot of ticks, so they're gone to look for another animal that they can find ticks from there. Oh, but we are so happy to be able to see these animals because of the rhino poaching. In the next couple of years, it might happen that the rhinos will go extinct, so which is the bad thing. So that is why we also came up with an idea of dehorning the rhinos. Such you can't see, so the male will stay with mom for about 4 to 4.5 years. Then as soon as mom she's ready to have a new baby, she'll then push her little baby away, and he's gonna go and find a bachelor head. Then at the age of about 7 years, it's whereby he's gonna start challenging the dominant male or the dominant male within the territory where he is. Or if he does find out the dominant male on an area he's quite stronger than him, he'll then go into the completely different area to challenge another male. It seems like he's quite happy with his mom. He's not wandering off too far away from mom. And have a look at mom's ear, at facing backwards, because she can smell just in front of her. And she does rely a lot on the sense of hearing behind her. See that she's twitching ears from side to side. Wow. Look like they stopped feeding. They might have had a tiny little noise that they're not familiar with. That is why they stopped feeding. And they're now looking around. It seems like they're gonna, now the sun has just come out, So it seems like they're going to slowly keep grazing along. If it does get really hot, then they'll find a nice spot. I think we're going to go to one of the other ranges and see what they found.
Well, the sun is not quite out where we are at the moment. It's trying its very, very best. There's a bit of kind of blue sky and kind of sun is slowly starting from the east, which would be very, very nice. But before we get into all of that, my name is Tristan. On camera, I've got Gert this morning, and it is lovely to have you all on board. We are on the far kind of eastern side of, well, we're actually in Torchwood. We're not even on Djuma. Seen here last night, apparently hunting impalas, and so I'm trying to see if there's any sign of maybe her being successful, given the kind of conditions that we had during last night with rain and storms. Maybe she was successful, so we'll see what we can find. Hopefully we'll have some success.
Here we have a tiny little foam nest frog. How cute is that? It's really small. It's probably about 6-7 centimeters. Cute little thing. You can see it's really white. When they're relaxed, they're super, super white. You find them in all sorts of areas like bathrooms, and if you have something outside and you suddenly pick it up, like a pot or something like that, then you might find them really white underneath them. They make quite a familiar sound. In South Africa, you would know that sound from summer evenings. I wish I could make it for you. Nope. Thought about it. Nope. Can't do it. Thought I'd be able to, but no. So for those of you who don't know, we see those little foam nests in and around little pans, even at the edges of dams. And that's what these guys make. This one is quite little though. I don't think it is making any foam nests of its own. Perhaps it has just in the last few weeks fallen out of a foam nest itself. Celeste, you say a very cute frog. It really is a very cute frog. They're so white. And I can remember distinctly finding one in the bathrooms. And it had gone and found itself some hair. You know, like hair that's on the floor and the sinks and stuff like that, little bits. It went and found itself some of those and just chewed and chewed and chewed, which is a bit strange. But that's what it did. It also looked quite cute doing that. Tanya, you'd like to know if they're poisonous? I mean, I wouldn't eat it, but I don't know them to contain toxins in their skin. Now, when it comes to frogs, it's not just about whether they contain toxins in their skin as defense, but because their skin is so kind of easy and a good indicator of an environment, because it absorbs lots of chemicals and things like that, I wouldn't touch any frog. It's bad for them, and it has the potential to carry toxins or diseases or whatever that you would then touch. And that's just because of their skin and how permeable it is. So frogs are a good indicator of the environment, because if the air is clean, the soil is clean, the water is clean, frogs will persist. If it's not, they're very, very sensitive to that. So if you have lots of frogs in your garden, that's a great indicator of the environmental health of your little green space. Absorbing those toxins in the air. Things like, where places where there's been a fire and there's lots of carbon monoxide and things like that in the air, then frogs don't do very well. Darcy Ann, you'd like to know if their color will change or if it'll stay white. Their color will change. Usually when they're relaxed, it's white like this. If I had to go disturb it, it'll go brown. And when it's hopping about and moving about, it's usually brown too. When it's just kind of still, almost like it's sleeping, it goes quite pale, like this. It happens quite quickly as well. These are also called grey tree frogs. That's for obvious reasons. They're in the trees. Ta-da! And given that they are frogs, and we know that frogs are amphibians, they need to have nice moist skin. These guys are able to stay up into trees because their skin allows water to be absorbed in good quantities and quite quickly. Apart from that, when they urinate or excrete substances through the skin, essentially, they excrete concentrated uric acid. So they don't waste any water. So back to the other question, if you want to eat it, you would probably get the strong taste of uric acid on the skin. It's not likely to kill you, though. Very, very cool. Are we going to leave this little guy and keep on going? See what else we can find.
So I found this beautiful tawny eagle. It was actually down on the ground eating termites out of a small termite mound, and now it's just flown up onto this branch. And you can see it's actually almost grooming, so it keeps looking down. It's scratching its head every now and then with its claws, preening its feathers a bit, and I think it's also looking for some food. But you can see how much it's struggling in the wind at the moment. So we're in one of the most beautiful areas here at andBeyond in Ngala. It's a big open clearing, similar to last night, a similar area where you can see incredibly far into the distance. We've actually got quite a lot going on here at the moment. So this tawny eagle, I don't think it's going to go very far because there are those termite alates coming out in the rain there. It's having a scratch. So that's very likely because when it was eating the termites, some of the soldier termites would have maybe crawled onto it, so it might be itching at the moment and trying to get all the termites off of it, which is why it's scratching and preening. Those termites are very protective and they bite incredibly sore. But what's also interesting here is we don't just have the tawny eagle. There's actually also a black-backed jackal that is lying in the grass. And I think what it's doing as well is just sitting down in the grass trying to hide a bit from the wind, but also looking out for different signs of food that might be coming through. So this little jackal would also eat those termites. They're really high in protein. But it is omnivorous, so it would almost eat anything that comes out. You can hear some of the starlings calling. Oh, and we've got the impalas starting a rut here at the moment. Megan, a tawny eagle is an absolutely magnificent bird, you're right. It's incredibly beautiful, and I love the different colors that you get on them as well. So this tawny eagle is still just sitting on the top of the tree looking out for more food. It might actually come back down to the floor just now and start looking for more termites. But I think it's also watching the impalas, because we've had some impalas. It's a bachelor herd. They're running around chasing each other. So if I hear the noise again just now, I'll point it out to you. But they make a noise that sounds almost like a very loud burping or belching sound. And it's the males chasing each other, trying to work out their dominance for when the rut comes up in May, because they'll always have a hierarchy within that bachelor herd. And so what the tawny eagle might actually be doing is watching the impalas chasing each other. And while they're doing that, insects are kicked up out of the grass. Smaller animals might move away, maybe like little shrews and gerbils and mice. And so that would also be what it would be looking for. It's a bit cold for snakes and things today, so I don't think that we'll have any of those for this tawny eagle this morning. But it's definitely interested. It's looking around quite a lot, so I think it is looking for more food. It's not going to bother to go to a denser tree. It almost looks like it's enjoying that breeze up there. So we actually got quite lucky stopping here in this clearing. I actually saw the eagle first, and it was down on the ground eating termites off of a termite mound. And then once we had stopped for the eagle, I saw the black-backed jackal, and then the impalas started chasing each other. Doctor, yes, there are quite a few differences between eagles and hawks. Eagles usually have a different set or structure of feathers on their legs. The basic overall structure would be the same. They still have the same talons, and they still have that curved beak in the front and the same positioning of the eyes, but it's smaller differences. So things like how far the feathers go down the leg on an eagle versus a hawk, and then different colors as well. So hawks tend to be more whites, grays, sometimes with a bit of black or red on them. The eagles tend to be more in the browns. There's also quite a size difference, so eagles have quite a larger size than hawks. And then you actually get something called a hawk eagle, which is an eagle but leaning more towards a hawk. And so it's a bit of a morph of the two. It'll be a little bit bigger. They're usually, like here, the African hawk eagle is white with a bit of black or dark brown. And then you can have a look at the legs, and that foot structure will be the same, but the feathers will be different. So you can usually tell eagles apart from other birds of prey, because on eagles, I don't know if you can see on this tawny eagle, but the feather goes all the way down to the ankle joint or the foot. So the whole leg is feathered. But if you have a look at goshawks and normal hawks, usually the legs are actually bare, or the feathers would go down to above what we would call the knee joint, so that you can actually see quite a bit of the bare leg as opposed to that feathered structure all the way down to the foot. It's quite beautiful. I can hear woodland kingfishers in the background. Buck, the wingspan of this eagle would actually be incredibly large. I would think it is close to probably just under 2 meters. They are incredibly large eagles, one of the largest brown eagles that we get here. And it doesn't look that big when it's up on a tree, but when you put it into perspective, if it is on the ground, next to you would be able to see that size quite clearly. And they are incredibly large eagles. I mean, this tawny eagle would quite easily be able to go for some of the smaller mammals, and especially young mammals. But they do get a bulk majority of their food at the moment from termites in particular, which is quite strange. It's not something that I think, many people would think would happen for these birds, but the birds of prey at this time of the year especially go for things like termite alates because there are so many of them. Still scratching its head and looking at its feet. So when an eagle preens its feathers like this, it's not only cleaning out any insects and parasites, but it's also taking the chance to almost realign the feathers, make sure that they're all sitting correctly. Because when it flies, especially on a windy day like today, it needs to be sure that those feathers are in the correct form so that when it's flying, it doesn't have to worry about losing its balance. If all the feathers are nicely preened and protected and in line, it means that it'll be a lot easier for this bird to be able to balance, but also if it sees something in the grass, to quickly dive down and get it before it moves away. So it's spending quite a bit of time preening there, especially it's actually doing the right wing at the moment. So they'll spend majority of their time either preening the wings or the tail feathers, just to make sure, because that's where the balance comes from. So I think what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to leave this tawny eagle, carry on down the road, and see if we can find the Birmingham Pride for you.
Good luck, Tessa. Hopefully you'll find your lions. We've at least managed to find some things this morning. It's been fairly quiet and not many tracks to work with after the rain, but these ellies have at least popped out for us, which is always nice. Now it's a group of as far as I can see, 3. Actually, there's more. There's another little baby there, by the looks of it. So maybe it's just the rest of the herd is kind of spread out, but at one point I could only see 3, and then there's a tiny, tiny, tiny little one that I didn't notice at all, and that is minute. That little baby looks as though it is brand new, maybe only the last few days that it was born. I'm going to actually try to see if we can get a better view slightly. I'm just going to cut through. There's a road just on the other side. We're on the main road. In fact, you might be able to see it up ahead, but the elephants, I think these ones, have completely blocked this road. When deliveries and all the other things that need to get to the lodges that are in the east here come along, they're not going to be able to get anywhere near this area without that being moved. No, don't go away. I think the female is a little bit on the shy side with this baby, which you can understand. That baby is absolutely tiny. You can just see it in front here. I actually think that this little one, by the looks of it, let me get my binoculars and have a proper look. But I think that this little one is a fairly newborn baby. Like I say, maybe in the last few days. The ears are still very pink, and it is absolutely minute. Let's have a look now when it comes into the gap. That's still small. I reckon that's been born in the last few days, which is always exciting to see a little baby. So, Minamu, weather is always affecting animal behavior. Animals are never going to be moving the exact same way if conditions are different. So you'll find, let's say, like on a hot, very dry day, that's going to be driving animals to head towards water heavily and to be able to try and hydrate, as well as to shady areas. So often riverbanks or riverbed, should I say, is where they'll head. Whereas in conditions like this, especially when it's blowing quite a heavy wind, you're going to find a lot of these animals are going to head into thickets, particularly those that rely heavily on their hearing. So rhino, elephant, buffalo, you find that they typically are going to go into thicker, denser areas where they're going to be able to I wonder if they'll let us get a little closer, but it's fine. There's another one that's more in the open than these guys. Then they're going to, try and hide away. The cats, if it's raining, they look for very dense, thick areas. So it really just depends on the conditions, but weather will always affect animal movement and animal behavior. Ultimately, they've got to stay alive out here, which means they've got to respond to the conditions that are around them. And you can see this morning, even with these ellies, yes, they've got a tiny little baby, but also the way that the wind is blowing and creating a lot of disturbance around them, that they're a lot more kind of aware of what's going on. They're not letting us get really anywhere near them, moving quite a lot, and generally trying to head into denser, thicker places where they're able to kind of get out of this wind and where they can then hear a little bit better. And it's why we're having to stop much further away from these elephants than we normally would. And you see it quite commonly when you get this kind of gusty, windy, sort of overcast weather. You can't really get anywhere near them. They're constantly just on the move as the scent of you and the car and everything else blows onto them. And that eventually then, like I say, pushes them to keep moving away. But what fascinates me with these guys is how they just completely disappear from you. You'd think big animals like this would be easy to kind of follow along with. But you'll watch this elephant now as it kind of starts to walk a little bit. If it banks to the left slightly, it will pretty much disappear behind one tree. And it just goes to show that even though they're large and they have these massive bulk and bodies, that grey coloration actually does blend in quite well. It's pretty natural colour. And so when they're in behind stuff and it's thick, then they're actually not too bad off when it comes to a sort of camouflage point of view. Not that they really need to out here. There's nothing that's going after these guys bar humans really when they get to that size. When they're little, like the tiny baby we saw, it's different. And so you'll see that those individuals will obviously be hunted by things like hyenas and lions and the likes, even elephant as well. Phil, talking about baby ellies, you're asking if they vocalize. They 100% do. They can be quite loud little things, especially if they want milk from mom and mom is not stopping and letting them drink. Then you'll hear them screaming. They'll make a lot of noise. So, yeah, they do vocalize quite heavily. They can grumble. They can pretty much do everything an adult can do. They just typically don't because of the fact that, mom is normally close by. And at that age, mom's pretty attentive to their needs. She's constantly providing milk and making sure that that little one is well fed and looked after and comfortable. And able to get everything it needs. But if there's danger as well, you'll find that that little one will make a lot of noise and will kind of attract the attention of its mother in order to get safety. All right, well, we're going to let this ellie go. It's going to just move on down the road, see what else we can go and find. Hopefully there'll be a spotty cat somewhere down the road.
Welcome back to andBeyond Ngala, everybody. I am currently on the trail of the Birmingham Pride walking down the road. And it seems like we're headed in the right direction. We seem to be going that way. And usually there's quite a lot of other animals around this area. It's a clearing, so there's usually impalas, there's usually wildebeest, zebra, and the fact that there aren't any is kind of saying to me, okay, I think the lions were here quite recently. But what's very exciting about that is these tracks are pretty fresh. And so they were probably here in the last very little while. Oh, got an anti-poaching vehicle. Morning, Richard. How are you? Good, thank you. We're live at the moment. We're live at the moment. Sorry, excuse me for a second, everybody. So there was some more toilet paper and Cornbed Drive, Birmingham Junction. And then some more around Cheetah Flats and Cornbed Junction. Okay.
It's not one of your staff or someone who's not familiar with the problem. Like the police. I'll try and follow this.
Thanks.
I couldn't drive past this leopard orchid without showing you just how beautiful it is. Look at it. It's a beautiful position. Lovely flowers. And the dampness and dullness of the day sometimes kind of brightens other things up in a weird way. Like the greens seem brighter when the sky is duller. And I feel with this leopard orchid, something about it is very special and sparkly. Very, very beautiful. And the ones that we get around here, that you don't have those, or you don't often see the brown little spots on the petals, which gives it its name, leopard orchid. It's usually fully yellow, but you do get the spotted ones, and they're highly valued, especially in traditional medicine, especially if it's a leopard orchid that's been going for 10 years. And they can live for a long time. And the older it is, the more valuable it is. And lots of parts of it are used for some form of love potion. Anything to do with love, basically. The leopard orchid is your friend. It's also the largest of the orchid species that we get in southern Africa. I think you're very lucky if you have one in your garden, and you would be bestowed with lots of love, I'd imagine. Very pretty. And these are epiphytes, so it means that they just need something to anchor themselves onto. Anna Marie, you say you love leopard orchids, and they're very pretty. They really are. That's why it's so difficult to drive past one and not show you. Especially this one. This is the one on Rebecca's Road, very close to the junction with Philemon's Cut Line. So gorgeous. The other extremely beautiful one is the one on Chitwa, near the dam. But I think that this one is a very, very close second. In fact, I should probably visit the other one so I can get a clear ranking going. Monkeys enjoy chewing on them, chewing on their upward-facing roots. And they sustain themselves. Like I said, they're epiphytes, so they just need somewhere to anchor themselves onto just for support. And then their roots kind of grow around and upwards. And any dead plant material falls in towards the plant, which then decomposes and becomes the fertilizer for it to grow in, basically. It's like a self-sustaining piece of beauty. Really, really stunning.
Well, welcome back. We are still heading in a westerly direction out to that wonderful pan. And this oryx bull is just fantastic. So we thought we would just stop and appreciate him for a couple of minutes. He's hiding in the very dense growth of three thorn here. And you can see how dominant this small shrub-like species is within this area. And they really enjoy the sections in between undulations or in between the dunes itself. But creating a very viable habitat, even for an oryx to blend and hide away in. He's deciding to move off now. So it's very, very dense here. And I mean, in comparison to that oryx, you can see the height of this vegetation. And even with me standing here, it maybe can give you a little bit of a better understanding of this intense growth. And these areas now are becoming very viable for a lot of animals to seek refuge. I mean, this is a small one over here, but I mean, look at this. This is perfect for animals to seek refuge underneath, but also if it's a very windy day, or if an animal is seeking a little bit of protection from being detected, hiding behind here, in between stuff like this is perfect. So small antelope like steenbok, duiker, birds nesting, reptiles finding refuge over here. It is just a perfect habitat. And if you just go right there, Owen, you'll see over here how it just creates this beautiful continuous band, which is almost impenetrable. And it is just stunning. It's got this beautiful light limey green color to it. And then obviously those higher trees over there being shepherd's trees and then camel thorns as well. It's just a fantastic area to be in. The soil color has changed as well. It's gotten a little bit lighter as we are ranging out further and further west. And we're looking for anything en route to those western set pans. There's also a few other bird species we could rope in this section with this vegetation that creates different habitat and other requirements for certain birds to come and inhabit these areas. So, for example, we wouldn't find an African rock pipit in this section because it's not a viable habitat for that bird. Hence the name African rock pipit, we would find it in the mountains. So areas like this over here, we would find maybe coursers, a few larks and other pipit species, especially the pink-billed lark. That's still a species I'm looking for out west over here. And you never know, today might be a day for a lifer, and hopefully a new lifer for everybody else. So from here, we're going to continue directly due west. I think let's actually wrap around and continue now. And it is just very beautiful, soft undulating over here. In terms of its topography, you can see the road in front of me. It's just got this slight arc up, and then it goes down, and then it goes up on that side, and then it goes down. So slight undulation, and it just makes for entertaining while we are moving through this beautiful section of the reserve. You can see these big, beautiful trees, obviously perfect. Is that a goshawk? Goshawk on the left here? Is that a goshawk? Or is that a dove? Oh, it's a dove. Whew. Leopard lover, what flora and fauna is endemic to Tswalu? So you wouldn't really find species that are specifically endemic to Tswalu. There'll be a few species that are found in the northern part of South Africa, and you would get a few species of flora that are possibly endemic to this province. That is 1 out of 9 provinces that we have in South Africa. But specifically to Tswalu, highly unlikely. I would make sure, but highly unlikely. Yeah, we're going over the first little undulation. Nice camel thorn on our left-hand side. And I mean, it's just breathtaking to be out here. There's still a coolness in the morning. It's still a bit chilly. We're about 15 degrees Celsius this morning, which is perfect. Keeps things just moving about. And we are about another 8-9 kilometers from those pans, which we're going to start scratching around. All these tufts of grass, perfect for birds' nests, especially for things like larks and pipits. That is just perfect. And that's why it's very important when guides are off-roading that you pay very careful attention to trying to miss these shrub-like sections, because obviously if you drive over it, there's a very high risk that you're going to damage or injure little animals. So off-roading should be done with the utmost respect. It is not a necessity to always off-road. It is a privilege for you to be able to take a vehicle and meander through vegetation, but obviously respect is key and should be taken to a high degree, just to ensure the safety of everything, because these vehicles do make a very large impact. And that's where Tswalu, obviously the size of Tswalu, we have a very low impact with in terms of vehicles moving around out here. And if we do go off-road for any animals, obviously we keep a very, very, very high level of respect while doing so. That bird's still singing, nice fawn-coloured lark there in the distance. And that sun's starting to warm up. I'm starting to really feel it on my back and my hands, especially my hands. There's a slight breeze now. And we want that warmth for the insect activity. So I'd say in the next hour maybe, that's when insect activity really starts taking off. Beautiful camel thorns. Almost like a multi-layered story of vegetation, from the grass to the three thorns to the trees. You can see how vegetation really allows multiple species to inhabit, depending on what your requirements are as an organism is. But very, very beautiful. Okay, let's continue out west of here. Let's hit this next little undulation. And let's get out there. Beautiful shepherd's tree. Look at that, how whitewashed that bark is. I mean, that is so distinctive off the bat. You can't be mistaken out this section of Tswalu of that not being a shepherd's tree. That is very distinctive. And also a very important tree within this area in terms of the larval food for those African migrants, which are very, very active at this point in time. But a lovely tree to see, and obviously in the tapestry out here, it stands out like a sore thumb. Yo, there's so many little birds calling from right around us. Owen, here to our 1 o'clock. Look at this fawn-coloured lark busy displaying. Have you got it in the air? Busy flying? Sorry. Okay, it's now moving. My apologies. Birds always try to make it tricky, which is good. Oh, okay, it's gone. Okay. And off we go. All right, for now we're going to send you off and we'll see you back this side. Sure, that sounds bright.
So I'm sitting with the Birmingham Pride with both of the white lions here, and they look like they are really relaxing this morning. Just to explain to some of our viewers what happened a little bit earlier, I was on the tracks of the Birmingham Pride and we bumped into an anti-poaching vehicle. It was actually the section ranger of our area of the Kruger National Park. And he was on quite urgent business. He actually stopped me and really needed to talk. We had some markers we were a bit concerned about yesterday. There is obviously a lot of rhino poaching going around. And so he really wanted to know what was happening and where we saw those markers so that he could at least go and have a look. He wanted to check for himself and be able to give us some feedback on what he thinks is going on. And so that's why we stopped and had that urgent chat. So I do apologize that I couldn't finish my Birmingham Pride story. But as you can see, it's worked out pretty well because we have managed to find the Birmingham Pride. There are 13 lions here at the moment. And they are having a nice snooze. Only 2 of them are awake right now. Kayleen, there are quite a few different prides of lions at andBeyond and Ngala. This is our dominant pride. But then there's also the pride that broke away from this pride called the Birmingham Breakaway Pride. They're more in the west. And then we've got quite a few prides in the south. So we've got Skoro Pride, Mbiri Pride. In the north, we've got Mayambula Pride. We've got the Avoca Pride or the Avoca males. So at least 6 or 7. There's also a Skittish Pride. So we've got quite a few different prides of lions. I would say 7 that we see fairly regularly. And the interactions that we see because of that are unbelievable. We actually have very interesting lion dynamics here at andBeyond and Ngala. But the Birmingham Pride is our dominant pride, so they are the pride we see the most often. That being said, though, there was a different pride of lions reported in the south of andBeyond and Ngala this morning. And that is probably the Mbiri Pride, which is more from the south. So we really do have quite interesting dynamics. I think as well, this pride is getting to the point now where they're getting quite large in number again. We've got a female that's quite heavily pregnant, the one that we have seen mating, so we're thinking she's pregnant as well, and one that's coming into estrus. And so with 3 new sets of cubs potentially on the way, they're starting to increase in numbers again. So I think what might happen is this pride might split at some time in the near future, especially now that these sub-adults, like that one that's got his head up, they're now getting to just over 2 years old, and so that's normally the time where they might actually be chased away from the pride by their fathers. So what might actually happen is we might have a split coming up sometime in the near future. So they really are very nice and relaxed this morning. They're enjoying that breeze. Their bellies do actually look quite full. And I think that's because, remember this morning and last night we had a few of the vultures around. So they definitely killed something. I don't think it was very big because there's not anything left of it. But they definitely killed something and ate off of it. And now they're relaxing in that breeze. The white one's having such a good stretch. So they must be quite warm from digesting that red meat. It takes a lot of energy, and so it raises their body temperature. So I think they're really appreciating this breeze today. That white one is enjoying rolling over as well. So I know a lot of people were quite concerned about the young male, the Birmingham young male that was injured. This is actually him closest to us that's just rolled over onto the side facing us. You can see how big his stomach is. And he's actually doing quite well. He's keeping up with the pride. He's still got a limp on the back left leg. But he is managing to keep up, which is wonderful. He's got a bit of an injury at the moment on his right front paw. He's torn one of the pads underneath his paw. And so that's a bit painful for him at the moment. But it should heal quite quickly. So I'm going to sit here with these lions and see what they do. Hopefully they might move a little bit just now and start grooming each other. And hopefully we get to see a bit more action.
Welcome back to andBeyond Phinda, everyone. We've got the crocodile just in the water hole. So earlier on, the crocodile was just on the edge of the water hole. You could see where the water comes out onto land a little bit. It's where the crocodile was, and waiting for any opportunity for antelopes that are going down to drink water, so that they'll quickly get it. But earlier on there were two crocodiles. The other one just went under now. You could just see it's just watching us. I think they saw us driving here and they quickly moved away from the edge. And just across the water, on the water's edge, you could see there's a water thickening. It's busy shouting at the crocodile. So perhaps that water thickening, it's got a nest close by. So it's not happy with the crocodile. You can hear that high-pitched noise. So now the crocodile went under. Just see the water thickening there. It's still shouting. There's actually more than one water thickness. And if you follow the water's edge, you'll see quite a few of them. And we came here to check, and Glenn is gonna scan around and show you how open it is. We still.
So we are back with some nice sleepy lions at andBeyond Ngala. And this is actually the young female. She's just on 2 years old and she's having a bit of a dream. We noticed her paws moving. So she's actually quite a distance from the rest of the pride, which is not that common. But I think she's sleeping so well that when they moved, maybe she didn't notice, and so she'll move over to them just now. But you can really see how full her belly is. She's eaten incredibly well. But you can also see her age from her belly. Can you see all of the spots along her side? So they have started fading just a little bit. When they get to about 2 years old, that's usually when the spots start to fade a bit more. You can actually see on her nose as well. She's still very, very pink in the nose, and I know that Tristan was talking about that this morning with the lions and leopards' nose colours changing. She's still got a very pink nose. It hasn't even started changing to black yet. So they're definitely enjoying a lazy morning here. I think it's very good that they've had a decent meal. It means that they won't have to be active for the rest of today. And they're very lucky that it is cool because they're not going to have to move to find shade. So you can actually see the pregnant lioness there. She's to the right of the white male. She's lying with her belly towards us. You can actually see her teats are forming. So she's starting to swell at the mammary glands. So we're thinking she is actually due to give birth sometime within the next month or so. We have been seeing her tracks moving up and down the riverbed in the same area where she had cubs last time. So we think she's looking for a den site, which is very exciting. At the moment, she might just be dreaming about that den site, though. I don't know if you can hear the wind in the background, but it's just picked up. kitchen rolling over. And a massive belly on that young male. So you can actually see he's lying now with his leg in the air, and that's to try and get more of a breeze over that massive belly from eating so much food. He must be feeling very hot. So we're definitely going to sit here for a while longer and enjoy the Birmingham Pride in their napping state.
It sounds kind of like me after a big meal. Laying on my back, legs up in the air, trying to cool down. Let me pull forward for us there, Owen. Just hold on there, folks. I'm going to pull us slightly forward. This bull giraffe has decided to hide behind that little camel thorn. There we go. Lovely. Whoa, look at his left shoulder. What's on his left shoulder, Owen? Looks like he's got a growth or an abscess on his front left shoulder. There's a huge bulbous section. Oh, hold on quickly. We're going to send you over to Phinda.
Welcome back to andBeyond Phinda, and we have found ourselves the mother cheetah and 2 cubs. I think the good thing is that we did spend some time around the waterhole, and for us doing that, it did increase the chances of finding this mother cheetah and 2 babies. So you can see the one that's sitting up, that's mom. So the 2 cubs are just lying down in front of her. You can just see on the background, there's a woolly neck dog with a white neck. And perhaps she was lying just on the edge of the thicket where we couldn't see her earlier on. And now she just came out into the nice open grassland. Have a look how beautiful green it is around her. It's really amazing. I'm so excited because we have fun. So have a look just across that side. You'll see the wildebeest and zebras now. They're all aware of the cheetah. So the wildebeest are shouting at the cheetah now. But those wildebeest are too big for the mother cheetah on her own. If it was the 2 male cheetah, then definitely the previous baby of the wildebeest they will be interested on. But she doesn't want to get herself injured or wounded, because if she does get a big wound, then the chances of her surviving are very slim. Because and also the cubs, although the cubs now are getting to the age whereby they will start helping mom a lot to hunt. You see, they're just in front of her, so they were interested on the wildebeest earlier on, and they just hide away from that from the wildebeest, so that because if the wildebeest seen them, it will let all other animals know that there is a predator in the area. So, and they don't want to be spotted. But it seems like mom, she's not very keen because she could see that the wildebeest and zebras are way too big for her. You see, mom, she's always focusing away from us. It's because it's quite windy. It's a windy day today, and we've got southerly wind, so she could hear what's coming behind her, but she can't really hear what's coming from the front of her. That is why she's focusing more on that side. And now she had a helmeted guinea fowls shouting behind us. So that is why she's looking this way now. See, because cheetah are quite vulnerable to lions and leopards. and hyenas. That is why she wanted to see what are those guinea fowls alarming at. It's really unbelievable how green it is around here. Wow. While we were driving up into this area, I was saying to Glenn, I would be so happy if we could find this mother cheetah in this nice open green grassland. But here we are. We did manage to find her. So I think we're going to spend time with this cheetah and see what she's going to do in the rest of the day. Because I did see earlier on while she was walking, she's got very skinny belly, which means she may try to get opportunities to eat today. So let's go. We're going to go across to the other rangers and see what they find.
Oh, hopefully those cheetah come right this morning. This big bull giraffe has made his way further north. Just before that quick changeover there to those wonderful cheetah, there was I noticed a massive abscess. It was almost like this bulbous section from underneath the skin on the front left-hand side of this animal's shoulder. Could just be a growth that obviously over years has just gotten larger and larger. It's not uncommon for animals to have growths and protrusions, but it was a very bulbous section that just caught my eye very briefly there. But he seems to be in healthy condition. Obviously his body condition looks fantastic. There's no hindrance on his walking, so it's obviously not affecting him to a high degree, which is great. And he's walking cautiously. He was scanning very hard to his left-hand side a couple of minutes ago. And you remember a couple of days ago out here, we found giraffe looking and staring in our direction, and that's how we picked up on that male cheetah. But he is continuously walking, showing that there's nothing of a threat around him. So in between us and him, it's just a sea of three thorn. This is what we refer to as a three thorn thicket. Tina, how much does a giraffe weigh? Oh, a giraffe, a big bull, can weigh anywhere up to about 1,300 kilograms. It doesn't look very heavy. It's just this very long appearance that gives it a false interpretation that it should be lighter. It's quite a hefty animal. Females around about the 900 mark. That's where they would be weighing it. Obviously huge skeletal structure, lots of body mass, so it is a very heavy animal. And that's where that terminology, unfortunately, that's used very commonly across the board, the big five. People obviously think in terms of, it should be to weight, the big five. But unfortunately, it's come over from the hunting industry and is something that's still highly sought after these days, although everything is important out here. From the little five to the ugly five to the weird five, they're all vitally important. So that big five terminology is in fact not in correlation to the actual size or weight of the animal. But back from the day of the 5 most dangerous animals to be hunted on foot. That's where that terminology comes from. And unfortunately, it's been leaked over to the wildlife industry in terms of reserves. And it is a nice thing to see the big five, but all of it is important. So, from here, we are still going to go west. We are not far off of this beautiful pan, where we are going to see what we can unearth up that side. And hopefully some nice little wading species for our birders. And then obviously, like I said, I really want to find those leaf cutter bees. And behaviorally, they are fantastic. We can stand inside the central part of this loose colony, and they basically swarm around us. They're reluctant to sting. They can sting you, unlike an African honeybee that will not hesitate to give you a little jab. But for now, we're going to send you off, and we'll see you back this side shortly.
So this young lioness has heard something, and she's put her head up and she's listening very carefully. None of the other lions have heard it. They're all still flat. But she's definitely heard or smelled something. She looks like she's going to flop back down. So she's actually turning her face towards the wind a bit now. So I wonder if she hasn't smelled something, maybe a hyena coming to look for some scraps. Or even the other part of the pride, because we are missing the two big Ross males, the two youngest little cubs, and the one female. I don't think they're too far, I think they're close by. Maybe she's smelling them. But you can see how she's moving her ears constantly. She's listening for any little sounds. But she looks like she's fighting sleep this morning. I think that belly is so full that all they want to do is just sleep it off. So she's awake and she's alert, but she's kind of fighting it a little bit. Oh, there you go. She's starting to groom. I think she's got a few flies bothering her. She's flicking her ears as well. Brand-yielder prides can get pretty big. Oh, yawn. So the biggest pride that we had here was actually the Birmingham Pride. Before they split, there were over 27 lions, I believe. But it really does depend on the area, the density of the lions, but a lion pride can get quite large. I would think one of the biggest prides would possibly be, maybe even in the Kruger Park, the giraffe pride is quite big. If you go somewhere else as well, maybe somewhere like the East African area. So prides of lions can get very big. I think the biggest recorded was closer to, if I'm not mistaken, about 35 or 40 lions. But that includes all of the cubs at the time, even when they're young. But here on Ngala, this is our biggest pride of lions at the moment. It really does just depend where the lions are and the dynamics. If there's a very high density of lions in a particular area, you'll find the prides might be quite big because it kind of makes sense for them to be working together. That being said, though, big prides of lions are very hard to feed. You can imagine even just with 18 lions here in the Birmingham Pride, a wildebeest isn't going to go very far. It won't feed all of them, and there's a very particular hierarchy of feeding. So you might find some of them don't get any food at all from a wildebeest. So as soon as it starts becoming a bit difficult to feed the whole pride off of one kill, then they'll look at splitting up the pride. So it's more common to find the average is somewhere between 12 and 15 lions in a pride. That seems to be the average for this area. What's also interesting is that the males will move between all of their different prides. So when they're here, this pride is 18. But when they're with the pride in the west or in the northeast, then this pride would be back to 16. So it would be dependent on where they all are at the time. Seems like some of them are waking up, so I'm going to sit here and see what happens now that they're sniffing the wind.
It's really nice to hear Tessa spending time with lions. We still sitting with this mother cheetah in 2 cubs, and you see the one that's lying closer to us. That's a mom, and at the background there you can see a lot of wildebeest and zebras. One zebra still alert. Perhaps it might have seen the movement of one of the cheetah cubs, and that is why that zebra is still focusing on this direction. And have a look compared to mom. You see the mother cheetah is just yawn now. So probably that's a good sign of her that she's going to start moving around. So you see she's grooming herself. So have a look behind her head compared to the cubs. Oh, Anna-Marie. Oh, this is the mom cheetah and her cubs, and she's being a very good mom. I think she started with 3 cubs, if I'm not mistaken, and now she's only have 2 cubs, which is really good for her. She's lost her other cub against lions, so she came across with the Pride of Lions, and the Pride of Lions did kill a cheetah cub. So have a look behind her head compared to her cubs. You could just see behind the neck of one of those cubs, and I think that's a she, because her cubs, it's a male and a female, so we can see just a small female or younger female. She's still very interested. There's some water back in front of her, but she's got a little bit longer hair behind her neck. Oh, you see the mother cheetah? She's just walking now. She's gonna go and join her cubs shortly. Then perhaps there will be a little bit of playing around with mom. But because she doesn't want to be seen, perhaps she's gonna just lie next to her cubs there, looking around first. Look at that. Wow. Now you can see the size are different. They're almost the same size as mom. So I think now they're about between 10 and 11 months. So they're getting to the stage whereby she's gonna start leaving them now. So what she'll do, she will quickly go and catch something, and while the cubs are busy focusing on eating something, she will then leave them and run away. So they will call, and she's not gonna respond. She's gonna run away from them, and they will focus again on feeding. But because it's a male and a female, then they will be together for about 3 to 4 months. Then after that, you can now just the male cub stood up. You can see she's a little bit bigger than a female cub. Wow. So then they will stick together for about 3 to 4 months. Then after that, each and every one will go separate ways. So cheetah is a completely solitary animal. And if there were two, if these cubs were 2 brothers, then they will stick. They will stick together for life. Oh wow! See the little female cub. She's looking around. You can see her coat as well. She's a little bit darker than the male cub. I think it all comes to genetic. it happens that sometimes you'll see the male darker than the female. Sometimes the females are darker than the male. Wow, but they're so pretty. So have a look while she's facing us. Oh, look at that. She's busy grooming her brother. Wow, that's amazing. So the mom has lied down next to her cubs. She's such a good mom. Look at the young male walking around next to that ilala palm tree. I think we're gonna stick with this cheetah and see what they're going to do in the rest of the day. We're gonna take you across to one of the rangers and see what they could show you.
Well, we have wrapped around the southern part of this pan, and we have met this bull here. It's almost like he knew this was our meeting point. Looks like he wants to get down to that salt lick. So you can see the animal just scanning in front of him. Obviously coming down like it, just as if it would be drinking water, is a very dangerous position for a giraffe. Because that is the perfect time for a predator such as a lion to initiate an attack. So ensuring that your surroundings are clean and secure is of vital importance before you go off to get a drink or tap into a salt block. So the minerals found within that salt block are obviously very important. It aids in digestion of very rough material for animals out here through the drier and leaner periods of the year. But then as well as there's a lack of minerals within the soil, or a deficiency. If you look at your mineral content, it'll increase as once one reaches closer towards the coast. So historically, animals would have migrated to pick up valuable minerals. As in where this is the only thing that we substitute animals out here with is these salt blocks. It's obviously of vital importance for their growth and their development, but then also, like I mentioned, for the leaner times, for them to process and digest very rough material that would still be around through drought periods. And a very beautiful setting here. There's a little watering hole just in front of us, and there's quite a lot of water. And this is where myself and Owen are going to get out, and we're going to basically walk to the other side of that nice big green clump. And that's where we're going to go look for that leaf cutter bee. There's a few wading species here as well. So once we're a little bit closer towards the watering hole, we'll start tapping into all the different species. Lioness lover, how do giraffes defend themselves? Well, that's a great question. A giraffe are very capable at defending themselves. So not only can it kick backwards like a horse, and it's got a very large hoof. Its hoof is between 13 and 15 centimeters long, so quite a large surface to use as a weapon. But then also there's a lot of power in that animal's leg. If it had to hit you with its hind leg, it would shatter bones. So in the case of a lion, it will basically kick backwards just like a horse, and then it's the only animal, it's the only hooved ungulate, that can kick in all directions. So not only using its hind legs, but then it can lash and throw its front legs out to defend itself. And I mean, one solid connection to a lion's head that would spell disaster for the lion. So a lion is taking a huge risk at going after a giraffe, and when lions do go after a giraffe, it would be as a form of last resort. So they would be pushed into it, obviously from hunger. So you would need a few lions, not just one lion. You would need 3 or 4 lionesses, and preferably a big male there as well. And then what they would want to do is get around the neck section. Obviously, you'd only kill a giraffe via asphyxiation, so clamping down on the air pipes. But getting to the neck is obviously a task in itself. So lions would want to offset the giraffe from the hindquarters, and once it falls, then go after the neck. But those legs come out at a volatile speed. So lashing forward with the four front hooves, and then kicking backwards with the back hooves. So a very dangerous animal to hunt. So it defends itself quite well. Females would defend calves by almost running and almost stampeding over carnivores, just to defend the little ones.
The mom grooming the cub. So some of the pride has now decided to get up and start grooming. They can definitely smell something. They're facing into the wind, a majority of them. But the young lioness that was in front of me has actually gone over to join her mother, and her mother's busy grooming her at the moment, which is incredibly cute to see. But it's also very important for them because they need that social bonding time, that allo grooming. They're licking each other's necks at the moment. So we actually noticed when she walked over, she had a bit of a slight limp on one of her back legs. Maybe she pulled a muscle or something while they were hunting, or maybe even fighting over a carcass. And so that's probably also why she's gone straight to her mother and is lying there, because it is a bit of comfort for her. They are definitely smelling something. They're picking up their heads. So even the young male has his head up now, so does the white female. And they're facing into the wind. And I think they're probably smelling the rest of the pride. Maybe they are still where the carcass was from whatever they killed. Especially since it's the 2 big males that are with them, I would think they would be the ones to stay at the carcass. So they look like they might want to move at some point, but I don't think they're going to move far. So I'm going to sit here and just see what happens now that they're waking up a bit.
Welcome back to Phinda and Beyond. We're still sitting with this mother cheetah and 2 cubs. You can see the female cheetah, young female cheetah cub. She's still very interested on the wildebeest and water bugs. But the mom, she's not very keen with it. So mom, she's the one that's sitting in the middle. So that's and the one at the back, that's a young male cub. And have a look at the black line that runs from the eyes to the mouth. So that black line is to help them to take out the glare of the light, because they active in the daytime. And you don't really see cheetah moving at night quite often, unless if they get disturbed by bigger predators while they're sleeping. They don't sleep. They don't do a deeper sleep. Do you see the body language of that little cheetah cub? Busy, interested on us. She's interested on some water bugs at the moment. But the chances of her catching those water bugs are very slim, because there's not a lot of cover where she's going right now. She's definitely trying to ambush around. And the little brother is up now. He also gonna follow her sister. Wow, that's amazing. So the tip of the cheetah's tail, it's actually white. It's got a white tip on the tail, and so normally I'm not too sure, 100% sure why it's got that white tip. But I believe if they're walking on the long grass, and mom might have that white tip as well, so that they can see which direction is mom going to. Can see mom as well. She's looking around. And she hasn't put her head down yet. She's still looking around and make sure that there's no bigger predators around, because they're quite vulnerable to lions and leopards. That is why they have to constantly looking around. She's gonna shortly follow the calves, because she doesn't want the calves to go far away on their own. As soon as she's stood up and follow the calves, will then follow her. But while she's still lying down, we're gonna sit tight and wait for her to go and join her calves. If she does look this way, try to see the color of her eyes. She's got bright orange eyes. She's still looking around. There we go. Just sit up now. So the calves are also hiding themselves against one of the bush just up ahead here. She still see them. So she's gonna go and follow them shortly. But before she started to go, she wanted to make sure that in the area where she is, there's nothing even behind her. Do you see those skinny looking legs? Grandhilda mostly they prefer something small, like a female Ngala or female impalas. Sometimes they do go for male Ngalas and male impalas, but they don't really prefer the male Ngalas and male impalas, excuse me, because they've got those sharp horns. And they also go for dikas as well. But with those skinny looking legs, I have seen her specifically before hunting the male impalas, and she was like 10 meters away in front of the male impalas, and she saw that it's only males, and what she did is she marked charge at them, and she didn't chase them because she saw that the chances of her getting injured are quite higher. But she's still looking around. And we can just see the water bugs where she's looking. They're walking away. And for those water bugs, for her, a little bit bigger. And also, it's quite open here. She has to go closer. Probably she'll, if she find a nice opportunity, she want to get about like 30, 40 meters away, then start chasing. But she's not interested. Look at those eyes. That's amazing. Wow. That's beautiful. Cheetahs are the one of my favorite cat. She's still keeping an eye on those babies. She can just see her cubs, but now are lying down. Yeah, there she goes. Having a stretch. Look at that. Look at those skinny looking legs. Do you see her on her tail? She's got short, almost a short tail. We thought that she has perhaps come across with a male cheetahs while she had like tiny little cubs, and she wanted to defend herself against the male cheetahs, and the male cheetah like bite her tail off, the white tail. Bill, that's a good question. I've had like plenty because I've been so lucky. I've been with the company for quite some time, and I've seen plenty of kills, and to pick up one, it's always very difficult. But the one that I saw, I was on foot, walking, trying to find a cheetah. They were just below the lookout point. So we were on foot, walking up on this nice hill, and looking down, we saw this mother cheetah chasing the impala, and she did like manage to kill it and caught. We saw the whole action, and she managed to caught it, and she went back. I think it was a mother cheetah and 3 little cubs, and she went back and called her cubs, and we saw them feeding after that. It was really amazing to see a cheetah with full speed chasing impala. I was so happy. I was so excited to see that, because you don't often get to see that, more especially on foot. So what are we going to do? We're gonna follow this cheetah. They're just gone behind the bush there now, hiding away, perhaps from the wind, but we can just still see them there. I think while they're still sitting up, we're gonna take you into one of our ranges and see what they found. And we are going to spend time with this cheetah because we can see that they're still active. So we might see some action. I'm so happy. I'm looking forward for the action.
well, I hope that you do get some action. We, on the other hand, have had nothing. There is no tracks to work with. It's been very, very, very quiet on the Djuma front. Doesn't seem like there's been much happening at all. We can't find any tracks for cats anywhere. We had one track for a leopard, but not a very fresh one. It was during the rain, and so quite washed, and sort of disappeared into a very kind of dense area, and where we don't get much signal, so we didn't really check too much there. I don't know if it was Tundi or if it was maybe Kuchava, one of the two of them, on kind of Southern Torchwood. So we left that, and I've just been bumbling around kind of looking for things here and there, but it's been, like I say, abnormally quiet. Even on the bird side of things, we're not seeing many birds this morning. I think maybe it's to do with this kind of colder weather and this wind that's blowing. Everybody's just having a morning in, which is not the worst thing. It's all good. Eventually things will break and things will kind of start to happen. So just got to be patient and see how it goes. So what I've decided to do is just come back kind of westwards and just see if there's any sign of Tingana from where we left him last night. He was kind of moving southwards when I left, and then there was alarm calls for maybe another cat in the area as well. So worthwhile just trying to kind of scratch around and check and see if there's any sign of him or potentially whoever else was around. Maybe it was Shadulu, you never know. So, or Nsele possibly. I don't think either of them have been seen this side for a few days now, so it makes sense to kind of have a look and check. Like I said, maybe we'll get lucky with one of them. Even if we don't, it's okay. At least it's not raining, so that's the one silver lining for this morning. We might not have had many animals, but at least we're not being rained upon as yet. It's always a positive when you're in an open vehicle not to be getting rained on. Right, so we're going to go check this western side. We'll try to see what we can find. Hopefully there'll be something of interest, and hopefully it won't take too long to find it.
All right, welcome back to this side of the world. We are trying to pick up a very sneaky bird in the mix of all this tangled mess. But obviously, like I mentioned, this tree thorn providing a very safe haven, especially for birds that feed on seeds. So while they're moving through this thick undergrowth, they've got a form of concealment, but then also protection. And the bird that we're looking for at the moment is a bird called a grey-backed sparrow lark. And it's got a very distinctive color scheme to it. Black face with a white cheek, black chest, and then this pale off-brown wing bar. And just to pick it up, it's a bit sneaky. But what we're doing, our plan of action, is just to sit still and then to pick up on movement through this undergrowth. That's the easiest way we'll find this bird. Because if we move, they fly. I'm just trying to pick up. We had one right now that was just off where Owen is busy looking. And it's a very distinctive and very prominent bird, very easy to recognize. It's found more to the western regions of South Africa, west and south. So basically Lesotho going north, it's cut-off boundary. There's there, in the gap there, to our 1 o'clock, Owen, 2 o'clock, sorry, there it goes. Got him. Just let me know if you got visual there. Sporadically. This is what makes birding enjoyable, when you really have to work for a sighting. And you just don't have it, up and in front of you. Just makes it a little bit more enjoyable. Let me push up a little bit, Owen. Let's see if we can get another little gap over here. Just hold on for us, folks. So it looks like they're feeding this way, eh? So I should get another gap here now. And in this area, we're also looking for those coursers, another very beautiful little bird. And also it would be a lifer for me, either the birchals or the timics. Got it. Keep going. Fantastic. So this area where we're in now is a perfect area to find these birds. They definitely enjoy the more drier regions of Tswalu. I said out to the west. Have you got them there, Owen?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Sure, Owen's on it. Oh, there, I see where you're looking. So the beautiful black and white or black and white and grey displayed individual would be the male. And then the off brownish individual trailing behind, that would be the female. And not uncommon to see them in small little groups. They do form monogamous pair bonds, and they are nomadic. So that means they can move and shift in response to that of rain. There, they're coming out into beautiful view now. You got it there, Owen? Yeah. Oh my word, look at that. Oh, look at that big white cheek wrapping around to the back of the head. Dark black face. There's the female trailing just behind him. Look at that. Yo. Black throat, black chest and belly. Very nice. So like I said, these birds feed on seeds. They predominantly feed on seeds. Fantastic. Yes. How's that? Wow. So this area is just making a great and suitable habitat for species that we wouldn't find in other parts of Tswalu. So ranging out here really makes it worthwhile, especially for these smaller and elusive species. Like for myself, I'm still waiting until I can lock down on that pink-billed lark, a species that will range a bit further east in favorable periods, just like we're having right now. With the rains, these birds will range out and also go into places that you normally would not continuously find them in. Oh, there's a bishop, Owen. Almost to our 3 o'clock. It's the only orange thing out in the green mass there. It's so hard to see. We've got a bishop. So the reeds that you saw in picture earlier, bishop is a species of bird that makes a beautiful woven nest. And its color, this is actually a juvenile. Do you see the... Oh, my word. I can't even have I don't even have a reference point. So almost at our 3 o'clock. Do you see where the green patch opens up into like the grassy plain? Yeah. Almost in the middle. We're going to send you off. We'll try and lock onto this bird for you folks, and we'll see you back this side.
We are sitting with the very sleepy Birmingham Pride, and they seem to be enjoying the breeze. And there's one actually lying with its tail on the other one's stomach. And I think that's very cute. But they seem to be enjoying the breeze, they're relaxing. And every now and then they're lifting their heads and putting it towards the breeze. They can smell something, they can maybe hear something coming. And I think they're just looking for the rest of the pride. So at the moment, their bodies are just focused on digesting. And they need to try and get as much energy as they can out of this red meat that they've eaten. always fascinated me how lions, no matter how hot it is, will be in a very small group, sleeping all on top of each other in a very small space. And today I can understand that it works a bit better because it's cooler, it's windy. But they are so socially bonded, and it's so important for them as a pride, not just when they're bonding like this, but also when they go into things like hunting, when they split up and need to find each other again. It really helps when they've had this close contact with each other. They know each other's smells, they know each other's sounds as well. And they have that bond and that trust between all the different members of the pride. So the young male has actually woken up a bit, and he's also now looking into the breeze and periodically grooming himself. And he's actually focused at the moment on grooming his paws and his face. But he is looking incredibly well, considering what he was like a few months ago. He really is looking much better. So we're going to sit here with them and see, maybe they might move a bit just now into the direction of the wind, looking for that smell that they're picking up.
Well, we at least have had some success. It might not be finding the animal just yet, but we at least have the tracks for, I'm pretty sure, Tingana. Now, these tracks are quite fresh. You can see this is his front foot over here. So this one is front foot, and this is the back foot. And you can see the difference between the two. The front foot, if you have a look, is a very rounded track and quite wide on the back pad. And sort of, if you had to draw a circle around, you'd make a perfect circle there. Whereas this other one over here, well, the back foot, you'll notice has a much more kind of oval appearance to it and not nearly as wide at all. Now, the track itself is looking bigger than what his footprint actually is, and that's because the substrate is very, very soft. So as he's stepping in, so his toes are splaying a little bit. So you can see a nice kind of gap between his toes, and it's opening out the track a little bit. Normally, you'd find these toes a little bit closer than what you have here. I'm surprised, though, that he's not showing claw marks on this particular track because of how deep his toe went in. Often what you'll find is when that toe goes in, it actually causes the ligament to flex a little bit, and then the toe, the claw actually protracts, and sometimes you can get a little claw mark on the front of them. But the tracks are pretty good. It was after the rain, which is always a good thing, so we're going to try and see if we can maybe find them. I suspect that he's going to have walked quite a bit with this weather. It's not exactly warm this morning, so good weather for him to be able to go. So we're going to track these. Hopefully we'll be able to find him somewhere in this area.
Welcome back to andBeyond, Phinda. We're still sitting with this mother cheetah and her two cubs. And hopefully Tristan will be lucky as well with the leopard that he's following at. So we're still sitting with her. You can just see Mom. She's still lying down here. And her little two babies, they have moved away from her. They're quite a little bit further away. So I think what I have noticed is that they're quite hungry. So they really want to find something to eat. So Mom, she's not very keen to go and look for food for them. We also had her calling her cubs back, but the cubs are not very interested to come back. So have a look, they're all like looking around all the time, looking for any opportunity that it might present itself. So the much better chance of them finding opportunity to hunt, it's when if they go into those woodlands at the distance, just on the edge of that open grassland. And that is why the cubs, they want to lead mom into those areas, because they know that the much better chance of them finding food will be on those trees. Mom, she's still lying down here, enjoying. I think she's quite happy where she is, away from the wind, trying to make herself nice and warm there, sleeping against the bush, or lying right next to the bush. So one, a little cub or female cub, she's coming back to join mom again. Have a look how that little cub was using the game path, because it's nice and easy for them to walk along the game path. She's found a little bit higher point to scan around. Culture A7. So cheetahs, they don't really roar like lions or rasp like leopard. So the only noise that they will make, they purr exactly like a house cat. So if you sometimes get close enough to the cheetah, you could actually see them purring. But it seems like that little female cub just lie down again. It's gonna enjoy itself. And sometimes mom, if she want to call her baby back, she'll pet. She'll it's like a whistle. Then that's a sign of her calling the baby back. It's like a bird calling. I'm not quite good with the sound, but and I don't want to make that sound, because if I do make that sound, I might scare her away. So I don't want to do that. You can just see a male cub right at the back. He's also watching her sister and her mom. He's gonna probably come back and join them, because he's gonna be quite scared on his own. They don't really want it too far from mom. But now, I think we're going to spend time with this cheetah and see what they're going to do. We're going to take you to another location and see what the other rangers has found.
As you can see, the animals are hiding from us. There's a few impalas here and a wildebeest. Because of this extremely windy day, I think most of the herbivores are trying to take shelter amongst the sparse thickets of this drainage line which you in Ndlovu Dam. There's plenty of antelope around, so they would probably prefer to be sheltered from the wind, knowing there's lots of eyes and ears around them. If there was just one impala by itself, it would probably be out in the open. Rather be safe from predators than comfortable from the wind, I suppose. These are all males that I can see, varying ages. You can see there's a bit of tension. Those two there doing a bit of squaring off. This relatively strong-looking male deciding that he doesn't feel like fighting right now. And why should they? Plenty of grass and leaves to go around. No females are ready for mating. There's really no point in fighting. Looking very sleek at the moment. Because they are not focusing that much on fighting and mating with the females and that kind of stuff, they're spending a very long time feeding, making up for the sparsity of food that they had after winter, making sure they're as strong as possible when March, April comes along and they start rutting. It's all about building up some muscle. Every now and again gusts through and there's a bit of cloud cover that's starting to push over. We're expecting a few drops to fall at some point this morning. Don't know when exactly it's going to happen. As you can see from that nice sort of relatively blue sky we had this morning, it's now turning into dark and ominous and gloomy morning. Let's hope that it doesn't disrupt this morning's game drive though. Quite enjoying the fact that it's a bit different to normal, a bit windy and cloudy, and hopefully it's going to bring us some activity.
Alright, just before it is totally gone, we are ranging a little bit further west of here to make our way around this pan, and the wind has already, in the past 3 minutes, detrimentally affected this track. I don't know how much of it we can still see. Yeah, it just looks like a slight disturbance in the soil. But let's try it anyway. So we're on this one here, Owen? Okay, these two here. Phew, yeah, that's unbelievable. So the soil over here, if you can just focus on the stick over here, Owen, look, the soil is very fine out here. And these tracks were delicious. They were prominent, we could see all the markings, and literally one little gust and it's almost like cleaning the slate. So what we've got over here is long toes. We've got a toenail over there, we've got a toenail over there, another long toe there. There was a toe over here, and then there's another part of the toe over there. Let's just see if we that changed. Okay, so we got toes, and the general shape of the track should look like someone like this. It should almost look like a reversed K. And this is the track of an owl, more than likely a spotted eagle owl. It was walking up this dune over here, sat here by this shrubbery, and I'm just going to point it out. So this is one toe. Are you on this one, Owen? Okay, so this is one here. Across this little blade of grass. This will be the second toe, so the two toes facing forward. There's the next part of the toenail. This is the bottom side of the K. This is the second or third toe, sorry, and then the fourth toe would have been somewhere over here. It really has been affected in the past 5 minutes. It is a beautiful track to see, and something that you really need to appreciate from its unique shape, because you don't often get to see it. Just see over here if we can't see it better from another angle. Okay, Owen, can you focus on this one by any chance? No, too close, okay. But here you can see over here, this one's a little bit more prominent maybe. You can see there's one toe, two toes. There's another one over there.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay. No, okay, let's move it. Yeah. Okay, so unfortunately it has been affected, but this is the track of a spotted eagle owl, and a very unique shape track. That's what initially got my attention, is just the unique structure. I had to reverse the car back and take a second look, and it would have just been resting, walking up here, scanning and just listening and understanding what's going on. And then from this position where it was sitting here in the shrubbery, it then took off, because the track's obviously no more from that point. But you can see how big the animal is. I mean, the animal's height would only be over here. You can see the distance between the track. That'll be the right hand foot, and this will be the left-hand foot. Sure. That was quickly gone.
Welcome back to Phinda and Beyond. We're still sitting with this mother cheetah and 2 cubs. They still one male cub, it has joined back mom, and the other female cub she's still a little bit away from her, so perhaps she's gonna come join them soon. And have a look at the background there. It's a very nice, beautiful area. In the background there, you can just see the yellow-looking trees. Those trees are known as fever trees. They're also known as Senegalia or Xanthophoria. They only grow in the area close to the water, where we find a lot of water. So the reason why they call those trees fever trees, it's because when the first white people came in South Africa, they used to camp near those fever trees, and they were getting really sick. They thought that they're getting sick because of the powder of the tree. It's got like a yellowish powder that comes out on the bark of that tree. So they thought that it was from the powder. Meanwhile, it was in the powder. So they were camping quite close to the water source, and it's where the mosquito breed. So, and they were getting malaria, and they only found out later that they were getting sick because of the mosquitoes. And they're so pretty, those yellow-looking trees. And you see most of them are falling down onto the ground. So if the elephant do come into this area and to feed on this grass, nice green grass, they also push down those trees to get onto the top of the leaves, sometimes perhaps to get into the roots of the tree. But someone will say elephants are destroying, but actually they're not destroying. They're helping what we call macrohabitat species. So you remember earlier on we had a guinea fowl calling. They were calling into that direction. So probably they're also having a nest underneath those fever trees. Lisa, so this mother cheetah here close to us, do you see her size? She's not gonna grow much bigger than that. So the average lifespan of a cheetah, it's between 11 and 15 years. So, but in the captivities, cheetah can live longer, but in the wild, they don't live very long. As I said earlier on, if you were with us, that she started with 3 cubs, and now she's down to 2 cubs because of the lions. So because the cheetahs here are also adapted to hunt into the very dense vegetation, whereby they can't see what's really in front of them, and they do end up walking to the lion pride. It's when they'll get themselves killed. But it seems like this cheetah, she's so clever. She's been spending like a lot of time in this open grassland. So early in the afternoon, she'll be out in this open grassland. Then later in the day, she will go and hunt and come back and and spend a night out on this open grassland again. Can just see her, she's falling asleep now. But she's constantly keeping, you see, she's got her eyes closed, but she's constantly keeping the head up. so that if she hear the tiny little sound or noise that she's not familiar with, she could immediately open her eyes and look around. We've got some nice sunlight at the moment. So behind that female cub, there's water not too far away. So the small cubs that we get in Phinda are, I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's 3 little tiny cheetah cubs, which are still like 2 to 3 months old. They're so small, they're so cute. Small cat species. So small cat species are sure. I think the smallest cats will be a Janet, but Janet it's more close related to mongoose than a cat. And we also got a serval, but it's very rare to see that cat. But the cat that you do tend to see the most are the cheetahs, and yeah, I think mostly cheetah. Sometimes there was a record long time ago whereby they introduced caracal in a game reserve, but we haven't seen them on Game Drive yet. So I'm still looking forward to see the caracal. Can just see the young female cub right at the back there. She's still looking around, keeping an eye. There's some water bugs that walking from right to left. But it seems like she also lost her interest now onto those water bugs, because she can see they're quite big. If there was a baby water bug, maybe they will be very interested. It's look like mom, she has seen something, or she just turned around. I think we're gonna spend some time here with her and see what she's gonna do, because it's nice and cool and it's not that hot, and this is the very perfect time for the cheetah to be moving around. I think we're gonna take you to another location.
So welcome back to andBeyond and Ngala, everybody. I've left the Birmingham Pride. They're incredibly sleepy. They're nice and relaxed this morning. And they actually all just put their heads straight back down. So what I thought I would do is actually leave them and head down towards the river and see if maybe we can find any hyenas or leopards along the banks of the river, because it is so nice and cool today. So what I'm hoping for is that because of that overcast sky and the wind, that those animals will be moving, maybe in the riverbed looking for some water or looking for some food. And So that is my goal for this morning, now that we have seen the Birmingham Pride. It is quite windy here today, so I'm thinking it is going to be quite difficult to find any of the herbivores in particular, because they will actually be hiding in this weather. They are so nervous because of the predators being more active. So I'm thinking it's a good day for predators, and that should be the main focus. But it's actually been quite lovely because we've seen a lot of birds in this weather today. So they've been the vultures, some still around the lions. We've also seen some of the tawny eagles. We actually saw 2 tawny eagles this morning. And so I'm thinking along the river we might see some of those as well. But it was actually so lovely to be able to sit with the Birmingham Pride and watch them all stretching and just kind of turning over. And I think they're going to be lazy there for the rest of the day. So I'm really hoping that going down to the river, I'll find something else.
Welcome back, everyone, to andBeyond Phinda. We're still with this cheetah. You can see just the one in the front there. That's one of the male cub. He's very interested on the water park now, because the water park, they have turned their head away. And as you'll see, as soon as the water parks are facing this way, he's gonna stop, stay dead still, and wait for them to go down feeding again. He is closing a gap now. You see Mom at the back. She's not in a stalking mode. She doesn't have her head down, and she's just walking around because she can see that those water parks are a little bit bigger for her. But the one in the front, the male cub, look at him. Look how he crashes down. Wow, that's really amazing to see. And even the female, a younger female at the back. So they're getting to the stage whereby now they're learning how to hunt. You see, even the mom now changed the body language. She's now all of a sudden very keen. And now it's quite windy. And the wind is blowing from the water park to the cheetah. But one water park is looking straight this direction. You see Mom, she's taking a step forward, slowly, and putting the feet onto the ground. And while she's keeping an eye on the water park, so David, the water parks are really big for cheetah, and for her to take down those water parks, it's going to be quite interesting. They're quite big for her. You see the male cub just crashed down now, trying to hide away. So the water parks are now aware of the cheetah. You can see they all are facing this way, watching the cheetah. You see the male cub is just lie down now, pretending that he was not hunting. See, he's now looping around and trying to get in line with the bush so that he can get a lot closer to those water parks. But it seems like the mother cheetah now has lost the entrance. She's not interested anymore. See, the water parks are moving around. That male cub, it's so clever. It wants to chase those water park back to Mom. But the water bugs are still keeping an eye on him. See, he's getting his head lower to the ground. You can see that white tip of his tail. We can see that very easily. That's a giveaway sign of them. Wow. It's amazing how camouflaged he is now. Wow. So now the other female, he's looping around, doing a bigger loop. So he's doing a bigger loop around. So the water bugs are now running away. So the water bugs are gone now. Water bugs are still running away at the distance now. Can just see them. Can just see that white ring behind their back. They're far away, so now the cubs will go back perhaps and join mom again. But at least it was really nice to see them attempting the hunt. So I think because the water bugs have moved away, so we're gonna take you to another live, remember live location.
All right, not a great position. Oh, there we are. Not a great position where we are in terms of the sunlight, but it would. There we go. So this side of the body, obviously, the shadows are being cast, but you can see a very distinctive white throat, dark cap, uniform brown along the back of the little. And this is a bird I've only seen a few times here on Tswalu. This is a capped wheat ear, and that is a very nice sighting. There we go, even better in the shadow there. You got it there, Owen? Just go slightly to the right. He's back up on the little shrub. Got him. Fantastic. Beautiful little male capped wheat ear. Very distinctive colors or color scheme. That nice greyish cap. Nice white section between the beak and that of the cap. And then obviously that white band running in and over the eye. And then look at that beautiful black bib. Nice hopping behavior, obviously feeding over here. Feeding on insects that would be coming in and being attracted to all these little flowering plants out here in the west. And then ants and termites do make a very large part of its diet, along with other things here and there. I've read documentation of eating fruit as well. Oh, where's he gone? Got him. As long as you've got him. He's quite a quick moving little bird, giving that little hop hop. What we initially stopped for was an agama that decided to make his way from the top of the shrub down to the ground. But then how lucky we were to spot this fantastic little bird. And this short shrubby vegetation makes for very interesting birding because they can just be hiding in and amongst all this. Wow, look at that. What a fantastic view. You can also see by behavior, its upright position, how that bird was standing, typical of wheat ear. You've got that very upright, almost soldier-like stance. Choop. Anna Maria, I think this is going to be almost a daily thing. We have our summer list is at about 120, and I heard from one of our viewers yesterday, Bob from Australia, that since we've been going, we've got 70 different species on camera, which is phenomenal if you think about our summer count being 120. So we have been tapping along with these feathered friends, and it just shows you the wide variety of avian species that occur throughout Tswalu. And obviously, depending what habitat or vegetative group you are in, Tswalu has 14 different vegetative groups. Depending where you are, you have a high probability of finding different species. Fantastic. This is a male capped wheatear. Female will be a little duller in color and as well as patterning. Very special to see. And like I've mentioned, only 2 or 3 times I've seen this bird on Tswalu. So even for me now, it's a privilege to learn and to understand a little more about this species. Almost roadrunner-like movements. This is to really start their chorus now. Obviously the heat has reached a point where they can control that sound that they are producing. Wonderful. What a treat. Oh, it's fast. Jeez, I'm glad you're keeping up with it, Owen. So what's very unique about this little bird? Obviously, it's a
Well, unfortunately, there's a little bit of signal breakup down in Tswalu, so you guys are up with us in Djuma, where the wind is starting to really howl. Now, you might be wondering what I'm doing. I'm busy following the tracks of this male leopard. I'm pretty sure it's Tingana. In fact, I'm 99% sure, given where we left him yesterday. But we did a loop all the way around. We checked. There was no sign of him coming out anywhere. And so I was thinking that maybe he's here somewhere. There's a very big prominent game path that I'm hoping he's taken. And maybe it's just lying up at one of these termite mounds watching an aardvark burrow or a warthog burrow, and it's just kind of sitting and taking it easy. That would make the most sense. Although the road is right here, and we've kind of taken the route that he would have had to have taken to get here, and there is no sign of him at all. So I don't know where he's gone. The roads are tricky in places, though. When it comes to tracks, it's really not easy to see in some areas. It's become so hard with the rain that, you know, even where we found his track coming into the block, it was kind of just a smush rather than an actual footprint. So we're just trying to play a game of kind of working out where exactly he could have gone. All right, well, we'll keep looking and keep trying and see if I can find anything here. Hopefully they will get some sign of him somewhere.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. We are at andBeyond Phinda again. We still are sitting where there's a mother cheetah and 2 calves. Let's hope that Christian does find the leopard that he is looking for. And have a look, now this cheetah, they're gone right next to the waterhole. So they're busy watching at the waterhole for any movement because they're quite scared of crocodiles as well. That is why they're keeping an eye on the waterhole. I think what they want to do is they want to drink water. That is why they came right next to this waterhole. So we are going to spend time and see what they do And you can just see Mom, she's still looking around the waterhole. See the female carp, she's interested on something in the waterhole. So it's in a waterhole where we saw the crocodile earlier on. It might have gone under or just around the corner where we can't really see nicely. So the water box. Chris, the cheetah, they do protect their cubs with moving away from the danger. They don't really try to fight with something that's attacking her cubs. But mostly if they do come across with leopard or lion, or sometimes hyenas, they do. Mom will mark charge at the lions or leopard or hyenas, and so that that predator will focus more onto her, and the cubs will then run away by that time, and she will turn around quickly and run away because she knows that she can run much faster than the other predators. So that is why sometimes they do get themselves killed by doing that. But with crocodile, they don't really do anything. If the crocodile attacking the cubs, or if she does spot a crocodile in a waterhole, she will then call the cubs, and perhaps then they will move away. Do you see her body language? She just changed body language because she knows that around the waterhole there is some crocodile. But judging by her body language, it seems like she's very thirsty and she wants to drink water. But she's so scared to go straight into the edge of water and start drinking. You see her body language now? Completely changed. Anna-Marie, oh, the cheetah cubs are so cute and fluffy. You're definitely right. They're one of my favorite cubs. Do you see on a female, she's got a big cut on the inside of her back leg. So probably in the last couple of days, she did caught a fully grown Ngala, and I think it's when she cut herself. But the cheetah cubs are really cute, Anna-Marie. They're one of my favorite one, with that white mane and dark, because they're born dark with a white mane on their back. They're really so cute. So before they start walking down, they want to make sure that they can't see anything in the water. But because of the wind, it does make them even more scared to go down, because they can see those tiny little waves in the water. You see her body language again? Still watching the waterhole. As she goes again. next to the edge of the water to look around. You can see now nicely the size difference between the three of them. And the one on the left, that's a younger male, and the one in the middle, that's a younger female, and the mom, she's on the right hand side. See, she wants to go down, but she's a little bit hesitant. She's still scanning around. Here we go, she just sit up now. Still watching the waterhole. The female carp in the middle, look like she's seen something in the waterhole there. There she goes. Mali, this waterhole, it does sometimes full up, and in the area where we are, in the wet season, will be underwater. So this area, in this open grassland, it's known as a floodplain. It's where the two rivers meet, and it will be underwater in the wet season. But we haven't had any more rain this year, which is a scary part, because we still need more rain. Because in some waterholes, bigger waterholes are dried up at the moment, and we still got like tiny little bit of water. Yeah, she comes back. Look at her looking around. That's cute little face. Wow, that's amazing. Can see mom, she's very tasty. It's quite windy at the moment. I missed the question. It's quite windy here where we are. Running there, yes, they are, and it's really nice to see these calves, and they're so cute little calves, and probably they're gonna go down if they feel more confident in just into the edge of water. And I can't see any other like a small pool of water just on the side of this waterhole. Sometimes they do go and drink water where the elephant has been to, and the water does go to the elephant tracks, and it's when sometimes they feel more confident to drink. See, you can just hear now, she was calling the calves. She's not too happy for the calves to be going to the edge of water. She's still calling them. She's definitely looking after these calves. Wow. She's still keeping an eye on the water. If she does see that that younger male cub, he's going to get right onto the edge of the water, she's going to call them and perhaps start to lead them away from this water hole. You see the young male cub? It's a little bit hesitant to go down, and it's hissing at the water. You see that? It sees a tiny little movement in the water, and it will open its mouth and show those teeth to whatever it's in the water. It's amazing how they know that in these water holes, sometimes you do find crocodiles. I think we're going to spend some time here. You can see one of the male cub has lied down, and we are going to take you to other ranges and see what they found. Remember, we are live. Everything that's happening, we're live.
So I'm driving down the riverbed at andBeyond in Ngala, and we spotted these bones that are out in the riverbed. And this is actually quite interesting because it's incredibly important to see it here, especially in the riverbed that's so dry. These were actually bones of a hippo that died in the drought. And so what happened was it was actually a male, and because water was so scarce at the time, there was a massive dominance fight over the water holes, and so the hippos that lost the fights had to move off, and so he actually came down here in a bit of desperation, hoping there'd be some water along the riverbed where there used to be water years ago. And he actually died in the drought. And so these are some of his bones that are still remaining. There's a vertebra from his neck, and then 2 of his leg bones. And they've been here for quite a few years. They've been moved occasionally by hyenas and such, but majority of the carcass actually stayed behind. And so we don't have any parts of his head left here, but there are some leg bones, there are some vertebra, there's a few teeth here and there lying around. And this hippo would have really hoped in desperation that any sign of water down here would have been a lifesaver, because they have such sensitive skin. He actually didn't cope in the heat of the drought. Their skin is about 7 times more sensitive than other mammal skin to dehydration, to sunburn. And so without that regular access to water in the heat of the day, hippos will very quickly die of dehydration. They can get quite a bit of bad sunburn as well, which also adds to that dehydration, similar to heat stroke in humans. And so what happened was, when he died here, a lot of the carcass was eaten, but the hyenas have actually left quite a few of these bones. And they're quite big. It's quite difficult to... Okay, we'll be back with you shortly.
Welcome back to Phinda and Beyond. Unfortunately, we have lost one of the young male cub from the crocodile. It went to drink just on the edge of the water, and you see now the mom, she's walking away. This is the very sad part. You can just see the movement in the water there, where the crocodile taken down that young male, a cheetah cub. Oh, it's so painful. It's more than the word painful. And nothing really we can do because that crocodile, it was just ambushing the cheetah there. And the young cheetah cub went down to drink water. And it's when the crocodile came up and caught it. So the crocodile went straight up and grabbed the cheetah cub on its neck. And the cheetah cub make a lot of noise. And you see Mom, she's walking around and hoping that that young male cheetah cub is going to come back. But unfortunately, no. If it's been taken by the crocodile, nothing she can do. That's a horrible part. Oh no. Can't believe what I saw. I cannot believe it. I really expected to see action, but not action like that, the one that we just saw now. The mom, she's calling her cub back. See her, she's running around now. She's still watching at the water hole. Probably she's not going to leave this water hole anytime soon because she's going to hope that the crocodile will let the little male cub back. I'm really on tears right now. It is a sad part. It's amazing what nature could do sometimes. And the sad part is that we've been watching these cheetah cubs from early hours of this morning. If I'm not mistaken, we've been with this cheetah for like over an hour now. And she's still calling. And you could hear that high-pitched sound I was talking about. So what the crocodile will do eventually, it's gonna take that young male cheetah cubs. It's gonna take that young male cheetah cubs into the, like down into the mud and try to let it rot away because now it's dead already. So it's not gonna start eating now. It's gonna start eating later on, and the chances of us seeing that cheetah cub floating are very slim now because it's not rotten. You see, Mom, she's gone back. In nature, the cheetah numbers are very down, and as we saw now, we just lost one cheetah, and the numbers it's also going even down again. In a game reserve as well, we're doing so bad. We're doing really bad. And sometimes I do wish that I could speak animals' language. And if it was the cheetah, if it was like gonna go into the area where there's some lions, sometimes we'll do something to try to protect the cheetah. But with the crocodiles, there's nothing really we can do because we can't see what's underwater. So perhaps she's going to spend a lot of time around this water hole. As soon as she realized that the little male cub, it's not going to come back. It's not going to be, it's not going to stay too long around here. She's going to eventually go away. But she's still watching the water hole. She's still watching at the waterhole, and you see the likely female carp. She's also calling back the young man. Shame, it's really horrible. Can you imagine going to town with your brothers and all of a suddenly you lost to someone? It's exactly the same feeling to them. So now they're expecting him to come back. And it happened so quick. Leopard lover, I think she's gonna keep calling up until she realizes that it's not gonna come back. But leopard lover, she's gonna perhaps spend like some few hours around in the area and try to call him back. Even probably as now she's moving away. She's gonna walk away and come back again up until she realizes that he's not gonna come back. As we speak now, she's moving away. She's running away. But still, she's gonna keep an eye at the back to make sure that he's completely gone. She might want to approach at the different angle to call him. See, she's still calling. Look, the call, it's got like a high-pitched call. They do call one another. It's like for communicating, so they know exactly if it's calling. Then they have to go quickly where the other one is calling from. But now it seems like she's walking away. Probably she's gonna end up onto those thicker bushes at the back, but she's not gonna stop calling. See, she's still keeping an eye this side in this direction and hope that he does show off. This is really a sad part. See, now she's sitting up there. She's still calling. It is really horrible. Back slowly and looking at the direction of this waterhole. So if it was probably lions that took that cheetah cub, she was gonna run away from this area and try to go to the different area completely. But because if it's a crocodile, that is why she want to come nearby and scan at the waterhole and hope that it's gonna come back. See, both of them are sitting up in line, watching in this direction. It was really horrible to watch, and that cheetah cub did like try to fight back to the crocodile, but the crocodile didn't let it away, and he jumped like quite high up as well to get away. I think we're gonna spend time with this cheetah and see what are they going to do, and we are going to send you into another live location and see what they found.
It's a terrible thing to witness any sort of event like that, but it's just the reality of what happens out there in life, and how kind of fine a balance it is for these animals. And we were actually talking about it yesterday as to why cats are so scared of water, and that's an perfect example. I'm going to just try to go forward so we can actually show you a leopard tortoise. It's a leopard on a mound, but not the leopard we were looking for. It's a beautiful big female tortoise that is taking it easy. I don't know why she's going up the mound. She's decided that this is where she wants to be, and I don't know if there's something on top there that she was looking for, or if there's some sort of food item, but given how much rain we've had, there's pretty much food everywhere for a tortoise. There shouldn't be any reason for it to go up onto the mound itself. Does it have something in its mouth? It looks like it does have something in its mouth. I can't see nicely, but it looks like it's got a mouthful of vegetation that it's chomping on at the moment. But amazes me how such a big animal and heavy animal is able to navigate terrain like this. It's not exactly the most kind of flat surface, but they figure it out and kind of make their way up even these steep sides of termite mounds. I was, like I say, hoping that we would find Tingana here somewhere, but we found tracks for a female as well, so I don't know if he's met up with a female somewhere, but we'll have to kind of give it a bash again this afternoon and hope that we find fresher tracks that haven't been driven over by the vehicles. All right, well, we'll leave our tortoise. It's going away from us. Let's try and see what else we can find.
What a crazy morning it has been this morning. We are sitting at Clara Dam here at andBeyond in Ngala, and we've got some waterbuck, some impalas, and quite a few birds calling in the background. And I think naturally as well, you know, just like those cheetah cubs were nervous to go down to the water, it'll be exactly the same with these. Looks like they have already had a drink and they're now relaxing on the side. This is a bachelor herd of impala, and they're probably having a bit of a dominant standoff at some point. There's a few that look like they want to go down to the water to drink. But again, also nervous to approach the water's edge. You can see the sun has come out, so the impala are shining that beautiful red color. So if the sun comes out a bit more today, there'll be even more animals that come down towards the waterhole. But you can see those impala are approaching the edge very carefully. That one seems to be a bit braver than the others. He's gone straight to the edge and is drinking. And as soon as he's done, did you see how he moved off to the right? So they'll be very careful not to spend too much time right at the water's edge. So this is actually the same little herd of waterbuck that we saw the other day with the wild dogs at this dam. This is part of their territory. So it's nice to see that they are all still here. I can only see one at the water's edge, but the others are off in the thickets where we can't see them anymore on the right. Just have a listen to all of the birds around us. There's some woodland kingfishers calling, some bush shrikes. So I think with the weather changing the way it is at the moment, I think that these herbivores are becoming a lot braver or more relaxed as the day goes on, because the sun is coming out quite a bit more. The predators will be becoming less active. But there's actually two impalas there that are standing head to head. They're sizing each other up for a dominance display. They both look quite young. Their horns are not very big, so maybe only 3 years old or so. But it's always good for them to practice, even if it's not the real fight yet, even if they're too young to mate. There's actually a big male coming in now as well. He's coming closer. He doesn't look like he's going to break up the fight, but you never know, he might. You can see they almost mirror each other's movements. I actually got a bit of stage fright there with the older male watching. So they will already have a set dominance within this bachelor herd. They're actually chasing this bigger male. They're actually looking straight into the wind now. They might be able to smell something we can't. So these particular males are actually not the dominant males of a herd. They have been kicked out of a herd previously, or herds, and so they're only together for safety. But within them, they're going to have a dominance hierarchy, and the most dominant male will then try and take over a breeding herd of impala to make it his own harem. So they've gone back to feeding now, and I think that's probably because it's heated up. They had a little bit of a dominant spat, and now they're just relaxing again in the sun. And I think those dominance displays will carry on throughout the day. It's quite normal to see in impalas, especially as we go into the new year now as well, with the mating season coming up. You can see every now and then they are looking up to see that there is nothing coming towards this waterhole. I'm sure there'll be a lot of activity here for the rest of the day, especially now that it's warming. Oh, they got a bit of a fright. I don't know if you saw that. But it really has been quite an interesting morning, certainly a unique one, with the Birmingham Pride and those cheetah cubs and the crocodile and all the game in between. Definitely an interesting morning, but thank you so much to everybody for joining us this morning. Please join us again this afternoon at 3:30 on Channel 103. And it was a pleasure driving you this morning.
This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Jumbo, 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 a very good afternoon. And we're right here in the Masai Mara, the Mara Triangle.